to Thailand. 25 world champions, 6 world conventions, and today's first Vice President in General Kobe Bakdikumi, leading the boxing in this great country, ever happened since that historic meeting in 1981. General Kobe, thank you again for having us here in this great country, beautiful country, and the so many champions that you represent. 2013 will be remembered as one of the greatest years of our organization. The WBC stands tall, and we have had tremendous activity that I would like to be very careful in outlining with numbers. 44 world title fights, 28 world silver title fights, 25 world female title fights, 61 youth title fights, 34 worldwide title fights, 44 international title fights, 22 Continental Americas, 25 USMBC, 25 Latino, 10 Baltic, 18 Mediterranean championship fights, as well as 300 championship fights from our different 10 continental federations. All this activity throughout a year, which includes supervising, rules, weigh-ins, press conferences, appointment of ring officials, and just being there to make sure that boxing runs safe. We can proudly say that over these 600 officially sanctioned fights by the WBC, we had great results in all over the world. This year will be marked for the many accomplishments. Sergio Maravilla Martinez, he fought in Argentina after 12 years of not having the opportunity to go back to his country. 45,000 people showed up at the Quilmes Stadium to render a homage to Sergio Maravilla. Pouring, it was a huge storm, which HBO even believed in canceling the event because of the danger of this storm. He got up from the canvas, he fought like a champion, he won the last 2 rounds of the fight, and he retained his WBC championship. The first ever world champion coming from China, our dear Song, who is present with us, went to Dubai and made the first WBC and the first ever championship fight in such country. Garcia defeated Lucas Matiz, in which was one of the greatest fights in the recent years, because he was champion versus champion, and they fought 12 rounds, making the world and the WBC very proud. Superman Stevenson, he becomes a national hero in Canada, knocking out former champion Chad Dawson in only 47 seconds. Martinez, as we mentioned before, visited the Pope at the Vatican and presented an honorary WBC championship belt, which is a great honor representing all of us. Floyd Mayweather, he breaks all the existing records in the history of boxing. 2 great fights, made his mandatory defense against Guerrero, and then fights WBC super welterweight champion Canelo Alvarez, with all the pay-per-view, the gate, the sponsorship, and the audience worldwide record belonging now to Floyd Mayweather, who is the highest paid athlete in the world. Also, our WBC legal team, they worked very hard, they worked relentlessly, and they had a great victory, making sure that justice prevailed in our Cass court in New York this year. And last but not least, what we have mentioned, our hero, the heavyweight champion of the world, Vitaly Klitschko, announces his campaign to run for president of the Ukraine. The WBC, with the proclamation that you just received, joins you, 165 countries behind you, hoping that you will have the strength to win this battle. You need to fight to win. Thank you, Mr. President. Dwayne, am I doing okay with the time, or should I stop? With the permission of Dwayne Ford, I'm going to outline the dreams and the hopes for our president for the coming year. Before going to surgery on October 1st, he handed me a paper which he wrote in his bed the night before, all handwritten, and he put these topics that he sees as the future of the WBC. He worked many hours with general public to prepare this convention. Our staff worked very hard to be ready and prepared for all the presentations of the week. But there are several priorities. The ring officials. They're going to meet today, the judges, tomorrow the referees, and we have to continue working to look for justice. The referees have the safety of the fighters in their hands. The judges have the justice of the fighters in their scorecards. We're starting to use an electronic system for ringside, working with the Mohegan tribe to come up to technology and to the current days to try to make boxing easier, more transparent to the public. There's also a system that has been worked on and developed, which is basically a reform of the actual or the current 10-point mode system. It's basically to provide the judges a wider range to score. So it's impossible to understand that 95% of the rounds are scored 10-9 when there are so many rounds that are close or that are much more far with a greater advantage, but they're still scored 10-9. My father has been working with this software. It will take years to be implemented, but we're going to start a pilot plan with this convention to start working on this. For maybe 3-4 years we will have a new system of scoring. The glove certification program. The glove is the only equipment that a boxer has. We have found countless brands with so many different materials, with so many different usages for the glove. If you see a glove for a heavyweight, 10 ounce, with very little padding, or you see a glove of 8 ounces for a flyweight, it's a very complex situation that has not been standardized. Dr. Clive Noble has worked with Bob Yallen for 2 years to develop this program, which will be represented in this convention. The WBC World Cup. We are very thankful to the organizers that they have postponed our World Cup. This has been the dream of our president, has been the dream of many of the board members, because this will give the promoters an opportunity to show their fighters worldwide, to have good purses for their fighters, and to become the mandatory contender of the division. It is a great concept, and we're going to relaunch March or April of next year. We have worked 5 years with Sulcos and WBC Boxing TV to present weekly shows live for free in the internet. General COVID had an idea one day. Many of us know that technology and internet is now what everybody is looking for. So after 5 years of working very hard, next year we're going to begin the specific program to provide support to the promoters, to give them another tool for the advertisement and to reach millions of homes instead of the thousands that they can reach in their local area. IVA. That is a threat that many countries, many boxing federations, and many boxing commissions are experiencing right now. IVA eliminated amateur boxing in the world, which is impossible to do. And they have continued a monopoly and restraint of trade practice. They are abusing their power and they're abusing their structure, threatening many to join IVA or be out of the Olympic Games. We're going to continue very hard to work against that. And the medical committee, which has always been a priority for the WBC. We have just learned of 3 accidents in the past 2 weeks. One fighter in Mexico, Franklin Leal, died after a fight. But that fighter, just last year, left the ring in a stretcher in the United States. Then he was allowed to fight and licensed in the United States and in Mexico.
We need to work, we need to share information and to try to stop these things to prevent fatalities. Heavyweight, Mohamed, WBC number 4, fought in New York and is now in an induced coma after the fight. Our prayers are with him. And Tyson Marquez fought in Mexico and was taken out of the fight of the ring in a stretcher. None of these were WBC fights, but they were boxing fights. And this shows us that until we have complete security, we need to continue working on trying to find how to prevent fatal accidents for our boxers for the world. We need to have a communications program. We need federations, we need commissions to respect the communication coming from another country, because they know what's happening to that boxer. Many times they just take the fighters, let them fight, and this is a thing that could happen. The WBC knows that boxing is passing through a very challenging time, and there is a need to act immediately. Our president has immediate goals, and he's going to dedicate the rest of his life to attend to them and to attend to boxing. One major concern, and he wants to intervene immediately, and will do whatever it takes to make it happen. That is the unity among everybody who is in boxing. We have many participants in the industry. We have promoters, managers, trainers, television networks, sponsors, commissioners, ring officials, press, fans, and what we have seen is a common practice around the world where they fight against each other. Instead of having a good, positive competition, which is very good, they take out the weapons and make a war. We want promoters and TV networks and sponsors to try to work together, even if it's not with their direct benefit, but for the benefit of the sport. We need to see them bury their hatchets, shake their hands, and work together for boxing. We need to have unity and fight against those very few people from the media who day after day try to kill our sport. Boxing is a great sport. We need good news. What we're living today in these conventions are very good news. This is what the world of boxing is. It is not what some internet reporters do and feed to their fans. It is not what some very few TV broadcasters feed to the ears of the television people watching fights. As long as there is hunger, discrimination in society, and limited opportunities of the world, the sport of boxing will exist. And we are here to make it better and safer. We all in this room, and many who could not be here today, have the passion for the sport. We work diligently to make a difference. Let's have a great annual convention. Let's work together, let's put ideas forward, and let's go home with a plan to continue working throughout the year. I think there's a saying that is very noble. Together we stand, divided we fall. We need to have unity, and I know that most of the people in this room want boxing to be successful, not only for them, but for the others. Thank you so much for giving so much to the boxing, to the WBC, to Jose Sulaiman throughout the year. We're going to have a special time in Thailand, many things to accomplish, and I am sure that when we go home on Saturday, a new 2014 will be in our minds. Thank you so very much.